economy is currently reliant on agriculture mainly. Actually, we normally say agriculture is our backbone. But at the same time, this agriculture is also reliant on climate. So we cannot do agriculture without climate. Then the challenge that we are having is that the climate keeps changing every now and then. And because of that, the productivity has gone down and so many other factors are happening. And now farmers and scientists are now trying to cope up with the climate change practices so that we can increase productivity and maybe counter some of the challenges that come with climate change. So with us, we have students who are going to be taken through by our trainers, Daktari here, and our trainer, on some of the methods or techniques that they are trying to use to counter climate change, resilience, and then therefore increase productivity in our agriculture. So welcome, Daktari. These are our students. Welcome, Daktari, to this training. You can introduce yourself and maybe let us know what we are going to do in the course of the day. Yes, Daktari.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, students and all the people come. My name is Dr. Peter Kalebutienu. Well, I trained here for my BSc Agriculture here, Masters and PhD here. So it's like my field of training and also it's where I train. So here in the field, I'm the farm manager of this place, making sure that things are run. The space where we are here is a field for training students in agriculture, especially horticulture. It is their lab where they do all the work and then they do their reporting, they do their experience hands-on as we are going to see. So when it comes to climate smart agriculture, there are areas where it will all go round. It surrounds a few things. Number one, you must know the market. Anytime you start an agricultural enterprise, do you have the market for this? And then you say yes. And what commodities are selling? That one is very important in agriculture. Now, further into the climate smart agriculture, you have to consider as a scientist, what is the season when you are planting? Is it the right season where you can capitalize on rain? Because rain comes and goes. So we have to connect ourselves with the meteorologist. We know when is rain coming. We have to check. After that, we can now plan set our mind on types of crops we are growing. As you are going to see different crops, we are going to explain to you. We find the crops that are marketable and they can sell at that season until the weather become unfavorable when you cannot plant them again. That is very important. As I have said, it's also for training the students who are going to manage the world economy in the future. So I have my colleague here, your name, you can say.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Evelyn Otieno. I'm a horticulturalist by profession. I'm trained here with my diploma in horticulture and BSc in horticulture.
Thank you. Yes, he'll be catching up with us in everything we are going to explain. So as I said, for this season we thought it wise to grow these crops which we are going to explain about because they need rain. And the rainy season will come, we expect to have the rainy season up around July. And that is enough to produce all the crops you find around here. Another thing we consider as scientists, especially in agriculture, how long does the production take place for each and every commodity? Like this, whatever you see, the carrots here, the managus and the spinach, they take almost 3 to 4 months. We'll have managed to capitalize on the rain to have them ready and we have sold them. So that in the next season in September, when we start again, we'll have the field free and organized. In the smart agriculture, we also consider the soil condition. This is very important. The soil condition is very important in the sense that we need to have enough nutrients in the soil. If the other season you have used heavy feeder crops. This time, the season you are planting like this is a long season. You need to have crops that are nitrogen fixing. If you look at the feeders we are going to see, we are planting most of them are nitrogen fixing, all the Fabaceae crops, that is the nitrogen fixing crops. Then at the end of the season they will fix the nitrogen, so you'll have less fertilizer to be used. Another thing we have done in the field, as we are going to explain to us, some of like broccolis, cauliflowers and spinach, we have done a lot of organic. It is more of organic. Around 75% of the crops here are organic. We have put a lot of manure, farmyard manure. And this is very important because manure is the plate where all the nutrients, contain all the nutrients. They don't leach out down, especially potassium and nitrogen. That is what we have done around here. And you'll see that even because of the organic, the nature of the organic matters, they keep the nutrients for a long time, and you can see the whole season plants will have enough nutrients without leaching. So for now, I think I want to give this lady time to explain about what we have done here, because he's been one of our students here. But as in a glance, you'll see that all these have been arranged in such a way that there's a line for a specific crop, another line for a specific crop, and spacing is very important in horticultural production. We capitalize on space because we want that small space to produce maximum. In versus the agronomic crops where you have a large farm with weeds and so on, this is it's more of hands-on. And it's going to explain to you also some of the work which were done in experiential learning. We have students here who are doing experiential learning for the whole year. From year 1 to year 4, they are given specific crops to grow, and then after that they can sell and get their money, and they do the production. They know how to do the economics of it, which is very important for them, so that when we get them out, when they graduate, they know they can start their own enterprises. For the way Dr. Arias said, that we need to be productive, and Kenya depends on agriculture. So our agriculture people must be very much polished in doing what is able to produce, make agriculture a reality now. So with that one, I think, do you have anything to say? And then we can start talking around just this and that.
Within your horticultural farm, you need to have a space that you make it separate for nursery establishment. Nursery, that's where you start your crops before transplanting. So this area is set for our nursery. And in horticulture, we don't want to leave any space at a waste. We want to maximize the use of land to maximize profits. So here we have mint. Mint is a herb. As it has been mentioned, it is medicinal. And then there we have the black nightshade, managu. This is an indigenous vegetable, which is highly rich in vitamins, the black nightshade. And then the other side, we have carrots, because we don't want to leave any land to be bare. That one will be a waste to horticulturalists. And being that we do not have any crop to put in the nursery, we decided to establish carrots there. Carrots take like 3 to 4 months to be ready. And then carrots, they also help in vision for seeing. Sawa sawa? So within 3 to 4 months, it will be ready. We harvest it. Carrots have ready market. This space is meant for herbs and spices. And the first herb that we have here is thyme. This is a medicinal crop. It is also a nutritional herb. And then here we have lemongrass. Also nutritional and medicinal. It is used in making tea, also used as a herb.
Yeah, and actually this one, from what we have just written in experience, thymes are very important. If you can take just few drops like this and you put in a cup of tea, not a cup of tea, but you put in a warm water, those compound will be extracted in the water, and when you drink it cools you. They say it cools thyme, it cools your emotion, and then you find yourself psychic. You can even sleep when you are highly emotive or any other thing. This one also for the tea, very important. Means just acidification. And this one here is also enough. This is called sage. Sage, you can inhale this one. You can inhale, and then you can open when you are stiff lungs. It opens your lungs when you are a lot of homa, Very important. You can also add it to food. Sometimes you can grind it into powder, and then you can add to food, and then you can get that.
And then next here we have lemongrass. Lemongrass is also a herb. Can be used in tea. It's very nutritious and also medicinal. Then next we have mint, which is also a herb, and it is also medicinal. It is good for the respiratory system. When you have the congested chest, it is medicinal. It relieves the pain in the chest. And then down there we have sage, which is also a herb, also medicinal. And then, as I mentioned earlier, in horticulture we don't want to leave any space to waste. Down there we have spinach. Because we did not have any herb to put in the space, we decided to put spinach. We don't want to leave any space to waste because we are doing climate smart agriculture. We want to maximize profit and make entire use of the land. If you go down there, we have onions. They are also not herbs, but they are vegetables. So at the end of the day, the farmer, your pocket won't be empty. At least you will have something as you maximize the land. I think that's all in this block. We can move to the next block.
Just to add on that, I want us to see the overview of the climate smart production system. If you look, push your eye up to the end of those greenhouses, you can see all the crops are grown to cover the plant. If we sell all this, if you want to value all this, it will come to around 500,000, because the beans will be there, and if you sell all of them, it's talking about the space. So this is, even if the drought came and maybe the rain stopped, you'll have some money, the way you have said, in a lot of money to keep you going until the conditions become favorable again. Maybe
Exotic, not exotic, indigenous vegetables. These are cowpeas, kunde. They are indigenous vegetables, very highly nutritious. This block is meant to be for indigenous vegetables, and here for these 4 blocks, we have cowpeas, the kunde. They are highly nutritious. Also in smart agriculture, you can see next there, we have, this is an indigenous vegetable. It is called kanzira. I don't know if some of you have heard of it. Kanzira. Yeah, it is an indigenous vegetable. And then next, down there, we have amaranthus. That is terere, also an indigenous vegetable. Highly nutritious, rich in nutrients, vitamins. It is very rich. And even during the propagation, it takes a very short time to be ready for marketing and even for consumption. And then after amaranthus there, we have njahe. Njahe, also very nutritious and indigenous vegetable. And then after that we have the cherry tomatoes. Have you seen those small tomatoes? Yeah, they are also indigenous vegetables, the cherry tomatoes, just there. Also highly nutritious, rich in vitamins.
Let me explain something about cherries. Cherries were put here to be just, cherry tomatoes are very resistant, root system. And we can use them to graft on other tomatoes which are very marketable, but they are susceptible to soil-borne diseases. so we use them as rootstocks. So what you are seeing there, we have done it so that we raise more of the rootstocks which can be used for grafting, and then we'll be able to produce much more fruits. You know, remember about when we talk about climate, we talk about chemicals put in the soil and soil pollutions. If you have grafted crops with strong root system, then we'll not use a lot of chemicals like drenching to pollute the environment. That is also one of the areas where climate smart agriculture is done. So these days we avoid using nematicides. We can use innovation through grafting to get such crops grown. Thank you. Yes, continue.
Mito, the Crotalaria species. Crotalaria brevidens, the scientific name. It is also an indigenous vegetable, highly nutritious, and it is also good for young babies. When it's cooked with, there's a traditional vegetable called jutmalo, mrenda. Have you heard of it? Yeah, it's good. It helps in digestion for the young babies, and also healthy for lactating mothers and expectant women. Highly nutritious. There we have the kanzira, just the other one there. And then there next,
Pumpkin.
pumpkin.
Pumpkin is very good.
Pumpkin.
It's a cover crop which covers the soil. A cover crop. So those are some of the things, the way the traditional agriculture. All the seeds are very expensive. You can eat the seeds, or you can also eat you can eat the leaves and also the fruits. So it is very rich there. And climatically it is very important because it just covers, don't need much. You can even plant some crops. And also to see overview before she explains further in detail, you can see from nitrogen fixing to non-nitrogen fixing, non-nitrogen fixing, and then nitrogen fixing, none, and then like that. Why do we do that? We are going to do crop a system whereby we circle. It is the system is in a circle. From after we have finished that one will come to that one. It is climatically important to understand it, so that the soil will be rich with nitrogen fixing crops, and then the other one will return there. So it is a circular kind of practice. That is climate. I mean the smart agriculture system which we are doing. So maybe I don't know. Go further. Further to end we are going to see
We have the traditional vegetable, the saga. Scientific name is Gynandropsis gynandra. I've skipped that one. Which one is that, Caleb? Mr. Caleb? Where you are standing here? I can't see it well.
It's malo jute, but this is a Sudanese.
Oh, Sudanese jute malo.
Yeah, jute malo, they are pot.
They are pot that you cook together with this. Very healthy for young kids and even for expectant mothers. The saga, the Gynandropsis gynandra, also rich in nutrients and vitamins. Very healthy for expectant mothers and lactating mothers. Yeah, they do say it is a source of milk for the lactating mothers.
Calcium,
Calcium, yeah.
so that we want to have a scholar. Let the mother and then have a lot of calcium to the bone development. Very important. For embu, they are very nice, yellow, with a lot of it has lycopene. Yeah, so it is also rich. It's this variety we got from embu, and it produced one plant produce a lot of tubers going down, and they are used also for making mandasis. I personally ate the mandasis from them. They are yellow mandasis from inside, are very nice. They are very good and rich. This one. This is also another one. The normal one we have, it's a white type, very important. Generally, they are for food security. Food security, you do go to have them. And then here we have this African spinach, you know it, madam? This is, what do we call it? Ndemra.
Nderema.
Nderema. We have planted, this is a very nice one. It is rich, it's medicinal for those people with those chronic diseases, heart, blood, and so on. They eat this. How many have seen this? They grow under the shade. We have just done it for demonstration because this is our vegetable museum. But you can grow it. Actually, it's grown by cutting. Very simple. You just have a cut and put on the ground and they're just growing. And they can emerge and take over this place. This is very important. Then here we have cassava and food. In DRC Congo, in DRC, they use the leaves and also the tubers. But here in Kenya, I think most of us just use the root. I've eaten this. There are a lot of them. There are some process they do. They harvest them and then we put in a mortar and a pestle, and then after, making them that way, they cook them with milk. The staple food for DRC in Bunkea Kingdom. I love this, it's very nice. We don't have Skuma Wiki on the other side. So, here are just demonstrations of the crops. With the students, we have been able to do this. And as we said, this is the time we can capitalize on our weather conditions, the climate, the rain, and so on. We do the field crop this side, horticulture crop near the water source area. If you look at down here, you can see the fruits area. We have done cover crops, nitrogen fixing beans, so that we don't wait for the fruit to grow. We can eat the beans, we can harvest the beans and get money out of that. It's just organizing the orchard clean, not by cutting grass, but by planting other crops which are of economic value. Now at the edge, if you look at the edge here, if we can come down here, you can see some smartness in our agriculture. At the edge here, we have instead of leaving it with all the bush, we have down there, we have planted the avocados. You can see the avocados planted here. These ones will stand as windbreaks and also will get from them the fruits. And after clearing this area, then we can have the fruits growing here just like down there, and this one is adding to economy. It is smart to have it with fruits than having it with the bushes and the shrubs, which will hide some of these pests and diseases. That's very important also.
These two blocks are meant for exotic vegetables. As we can see, there we have beetroots. Beetroots, they are highly nutritious and also meant for, let's say, those people whenever you have been diagnosed with lower HB, lower blood level, you will be encouraged to take more of beetroot. Instead of going for the processed medicine, you use beetroot. It will boost the HB very fast. Highly recommended. Exotic vegetable, the broccoli, sold in kilos, very expensive. See, you know them, the broccolis, yeah? Very nutritious, rich in vitamins, and then after selling, they are very expensive. So if you do that farming, I'm telling you, my friend, if you have like 1 acre, 2 acres, you are good to go. After the broccolis, we have the managu, the black nightshade. Managu we talked about. Down there we have cowpeas. It's repeated. And then down there, we have the nitrogen fixing, the beans. We did not want to leave the land fallow. So you see beans also 3 to 4 months, they are ready. Ready for harvesting, ready for consumption. And then there is one thing I forgot to say about in horticulture. When you are planning your field, the crops that need more water, you need to put them nearer to the main source of water. As you can see, we have a water tank there. So the exotic vegetables require more water than the traditional vegetables, the indigenous. So you put them closer to the water source. And then as you go down there, the crops which do not require more water, they can stay for long without water. You see the fruits, they are now down there. But this one which require more water more frequently, you put them closer to the source of water. Is that okay? The apples, but then some are tropical. The avocados are tropical fruits. We have apples and plums. There are also custard apples there. There's a peach there. But here, in most cases, they don't fruit because they require that vernalization process for them to fruit. That very cold period. That's why they do well in areas of Limuru, Kiambu, but not here. Here they do. In most cases, even if they fruit, we get very little, very small fruits, very tiny, because they were not exposed to that vernalization process. But we have them here for demonstration to students and see how the actual fruit look like.
Baby, placing it on food, placing the baby on where they can find food. This we did every hole, they put farmyard manure, and then they add a little about DAP if necessary, but it was not necessary, so we just kept on adding more manure like this. And even if you look at it, you find it's clean. It's clean for your body. And you love it. Even the leaves are eaten. And remind you, if we eat both leaves and the fruits or the flowers, it means that if you use a lot of chemicals like nitrogen, CAN, or urea, in your body there's nothing, no enzyme that can digest nitrogen, nitrates in the body. So we have to avoid it, and those are the sources of cancer in our body. But if you find an organic crop like this, you should rush for it. In fact, we should sell one at 100 bob. But because it is a floodgate, we are selling it. It's a farm gate, we are selling it at that price, about 60, 50, that way. They are organic. Organics are double cost of the other one. Thank you.
Smart agriculture, we can include irrigation. And because we are doing smart agriculture, we want to, you collect that rainwater, you can reserve it in tanks or ponds, yeah? And then when you come to irrigate, you avoid doing flooding. Mainly we do drip irrigation or use of watering cans. Maximize the use of water. We don't want any wastage. So we do drips, like there, the drip lines are supposed to be laid. They are just not in place, but they will be laid. So in smart agriculture, irrigation is done. Yeah. But we make efficient use of water, no wastage.
Put them like all the whole field, they are in blocks. Why do we block in smart agriculture? We block so that even if one block is attacked by some disease, you can just surround that place and treat. And it's easy to maintain this as a unit like that, than putting the whole field. If you look as you are going to work, they are in blocks. Very important for blocking. Have you done some statistics about why we block? Blocking means that you want to get specific, in a specific area, you get what you want, and then you can see if there's error between different blocks. That one you'll do it later, maybe in your class. Two things here. Smartness. How smart are we here? First of all, you lay an orchard. Orchard must be laid at using Pythagoras theorem. You get the angles, the perpendicular. Those are 90 degrees, and then you can now lay the fruits in the line like this. It can be square, it can be rectangular, it can be square, rectangular, it can also be triangular. All this you have done. But what I want to explain is here that now, We have used the ground. We have, by planting beans here, we have used we have utilized all the spaces we have. As we wait for the growth of these plants, which will take maybe another few months, maybe 6 months, and then they are ready, we'll be able to upgain from there. And more important is this one, the reason why I brought you here. This is a it's a gold for medicinal and for those people who have got diseases and need different kind of chronic sickness. This is called tree tomato. Tree tomato. Tree tomato is called Cyphomandra battaceae. It's very important. It's called we call it matunda damu. Matunda damu is good for mama at the age of 80s or wazee. And also when you have blood anemic, it adds amount of blood in the body. I know the parasitology and whatever, those who deal with the blood, they know. Most of the time we do, most of the time we have got to go to blood transfusion. But we as horticulturists in smart agriculture, we believe that if you give a patient at least 5 of the tree tomato fruits per day to eat, you can restore the blood that you need in the body. But you can see we have got the bananas, and then inside we put the tree tomatoes to produce this. We can get, from there we can get the seed. We are just generating more seeds, and then all of this place we are going to cover with them. So we don't depend on one banana, so that when it deceased or it attacks by a disease called sigatoka. People from Kisii, from Meru, you know about this, Siga end, this fungi. Then you can still gain from this. It is more resistant to various diseases, and it's more rich because just 1 kilo is almost 100 shillings, and so on, and we can get more and more. Another thing we cannot do we can do here to get more, in case this place is affected by nematodes and other diseases, we can use soda apple. You know, so there's a shrub called soda apple. We can graft as a rootstock down, and then we graft this one as a side. It will even produce more, and you get a lot of money. Here, what we have done, most of the time we put a basin so that they capture every rain that they find around. The rain, whatever we call it, the floods, they come to that. Look at it, that one. We put enough holes so that the banana can get enough water and so on. This is how smart we are, and that is why it is important to launch such a smart agriculture project in this place. Look at those fields there. Those are the fruits, the tree fruits. Under it, we have planted beans and any cover crops.
On smart agriculture, there's something called use of sunken beds or raised beds.
Correct, yeah.
In waterlogged areas, you can use the raised beds.
Like this one.
Yeah, and then in areas where there is no water, you can use sunken beds. It's something that just resembles like that hole there. So the crop will be able to retain more water for a longer period of time. So it is vice versa. The sunken beds in waterlogged areas, so that the crop is not affected by fungal infections or whatever. Most of the infections are as a result of excess water. Okay?
Just before we leave again, I remember something about innovation in tissue culture. If you see this, some of these bananas, some are some level, some are small and so on. If you want to get, that is what we are looking for. Plants, bananas growing at the same level, and then you can sell them at one point to the market. Then you have tissue cultured banana. We have got tissue culture laboratory there, another one molecular lab there. We can do mass propagation, but that one depends on the request. If you have customers, that's also a good business, because in smart agriculture we need the trade must be high. You must be earning more on this. You must be very careful to know what your climatic condition require, the types of plant you want. So for the tissue culture bananas, we can do them with if somebody has ordered. Then we can even put a mass of 3,000 or any other things, and then they come and sell them in the lab, their biotechnology lab. We have those ability to do that, and that one will actually increase our trade in agricultural produce. Cropping. What can you, as a farmer, can you see, detect some of the problems we have here? Now is that you are going for extension agenda and extension. Cropping and what else?
The school management.
Eh?
The school management.
Tool management, correct? Yeah, so this is, yeah. Which one can you use therefore as a planting material here? Eh? Yeah, say it.
There is not that big sucker because you always start from the grandmother, mother,
That's what I want to do.
daughter, granddaughter, and great granddaughter. We should have 5 of them.
Did you get that?
Yes.
Yeah, granddaughter, whatever, all those grands. Do you have anything to explain there, Nani? Nani? That's very important. So you need to have that generation continuity. It is not here because we are trying. You should be very clear. In Calro, I think in Vika, you find that you can see the daughter, grandmother, whatever, the mother, the daughter, and the granddaughter there. They are coming in a form of. But this one happened the way I said, if you use tissue culture banana. Tissue culture banana are the same age, so their generation, the progeny is defined from granddaughter to granddaughter, going up to the mother and even the whatever the grandmother and so on. Is very important, and that is how you can do the orchard smartly in terms of banana production. Probing is very important. Check on the diseases and also the stool management, they have said. Those are some of the areas that we need to be smart, and we can do that. We train people to get tangible people, hands-on people who are able to explain to the field. If you are extension officer, you'll be able to explain. If you are a teacher, then you'll be able to help the students to understand all these principles in production. Actually in the pomology or the production of fruits in the farm. Very, very important. And then what we are seeing here is cleanliness. We need to smarter than this. Anything which is disease, you remove. And not only removing it from there. You throw it somewhere so that it doesn't come and affect. What do we call it? Sanitation of the orchard is very important to reduce all this. Okay? Right. I think we need to come here to define smart agriculture. These are crops grown hydroponically or bioponically. Bioponically means that you put some nutrients there which with the essential microorganisms which actually can produce can actually help enhance nutrition of this. But hydroponically, we can put plants in. This is pumice. Pumice is not a nutrient aside, but inside we have got a cocoa peat and so on. So water system is at some level here. This is an innovation that we do. And can you see how they are producing? You may think that it is in a desert or in another place, dry ground, but inside there are nutrients. Look at this. If you see the plants are putting a lot of flowers and so on, it means that it has all the rich nutrients that it requires. So hydroponic production system is a way, it's smart agriculture whereby you are able to produce without soil. When the soil cannot give, actually this is even cleaner than the soil because the soil you are not able to stop all the diseases coming from the runoff and so on. Another thing about this, you see the greenhouse is covered. The greenhouse gases is a problem for global warming and so on. And in smartest here is that we can able to control the gases. From photosynthesis, you get nitrogen, oxygen. as a product, and then they just like is locked here. In the evening, all the photosynthesis is the oxygen is used for respiration, and then at 6 o'clock in the morning, we have got a lot of CO2 still confined in the environment. From around 8 o'clock when the sun comes, around 11, this greenhouse should be locked, so that the photosynthesis process uses all the CO2 that is required. You know about photosynthesis? That use the CO2 plus water, hydrolysis, and then it breaks down into sugars. That is how we control our agriculture system here is smart, so that we reduce the greenhouse gases exposing to the air. The hydrogen sulfide, all of these we are blocked. Another thing here, in this confinement of this greenhouse, we don't have to spray, because where will they get exposed to attack them, and even the insect, they are blocked, so spraying is reduced. Water system is just efficient, because we have got control of water system, and then use efficient water. All of this, they are gaining. These are some of our projects, but it can be done in a large scale also if you want. The whole greenhouse can have it. But what I know about this, these crops are fresher than are cleaner than the ones you have in the field, because those ones you have to spray. We can also use the nets to control some of the biting insects, which can actually inject virus in them. Those are some of the things we are doing here. So this is just it versus the ground production system here. If you come here, you can see we are also trying to do the right. This is very nice. In the greenhouse production system, you get crops that can do well in the greenhouse, because we call them warm season crop. Warm season crop, they need a temperature which is around 25 to 27 there, up to 30, they can still survive. She talks about broccolis, and those ones are field crop, they are cool season crops. So these are the kundes. You want to add more to explain something on this, you think?
Okay, here we also have the capsicum. And you can see also we are doing the drip irrigation.
What you were talking about?
Yeah, what I was talking about. In smart agriculture, you need to minimize the use of water. It's okay.
And you can see they are doing good. These are just happy. They are happy plants here. And what about if we did the whole greenhouse? It's just a demonstration. You have money here because this one, you cut and then you harvest it and then it continues to grow. We must be smart. Look at this small space and the whatever is come. I talked about space, which is very important. Inside, in agronomic production system, you have the whole field and people. Here in smart agriculture, only one person can manage this. And even if it is the whole greenhouse, he can manage very well. But in the field, you need more people. Disease could have been, but these have never been sprayed. Only organic matters have been put there. That is the farmyard manure. Yeah, so I think it's okay. You can also move the other side. There's another project on the other side. Okay, but think about gas, confining the gases, greenhouse gases, which actually affect our systems.
Some of these vegetables, like the capsicum, take care not to injure or bruise the plant. Don't bruise it. You just pluck it slowly, because when you cause bruises, those are the entry points for diseases.
Our projects under smart agriculture, whereby first of all we use a greenhouse system to control.
Okay, my name is Eunice. I'm a fourth-year horticulture student. As I've said, this is our fourth-year project. Basically, what we are doing is circular agriculture. Circular agriculture is where you never let anything go into waste. into this or for this BSF. Basically, BSF is an insect. In full, it's called black soldier fly. So we have the what we call the organic waste, or the organic waste or the green waste. So the kitchen refuse, the market waste, the hotel waste, all that, instead of throwing it away and causing climate pollution or climate pollution, you feed it to BSF insect, and then that BSF will give you an excrete. We call it BSF based biofertilizer. It's in form of a frass. Frass is the solid form. Then from that solid form, we convert it to liquid form. So this one here is our BSF based liquid biofertilizer. Now this one here. Now before we give this one to farmers to use it commercially, we must give them the application dates for different crops. It has been studied to other crops, but minimal research has been done on vegetables. So that is what we are doing here. This is season 3. It has been done by a PhD student, a master's student, and then we are continuing with it. We are doing, this one is called cowpea, capsicum, and slender leaf. At the end of the research, we will try to find out what is the best application date for the farmers to spray for all these vegetables per hectare. So we are trying to also commercialize it. Yeah.
Well explained, isn't it? Are you getting that all this? And this one anybody can do. So what we have seen, they are repeated because it's a research. It is the block 1, 2, 3. They are going to take data, analyze, and see what it is. So it must be scientifically proven. PhD students have proven this. Masters have done. The BSc, they are also trying. All this data, they cannot lie. Figures cannot lie. Talks can lie. That is what they are doing, and after that they are going to give out present the result in the university. And this should continue. If we get the best product that we can rate, and we know the rate we can give to farmers, they can do. The basic, the main thing to note or to take home is that it is organic, it is climatically smart because it's done in a greenhouse. It is using instead of throwing the waste away, you confine them and give them for the insect to eat and bring the frass, I think the word, the excreta, ferment it and become a fertilizer. That is what we did. And with that one, you can get a quality, health quality, whatever the vegetable, which can not cause diseases as it is. All right? If you have any question from here, you can ask.
Okay, before they ask any question,
Yeah.
I just have something to add on it.
Yes.
You see, we are now in a structure, this is a greenhouse, and the use of greenhouse, we also embrace it in smart agriculture. Because you see, when you use this greenhouse, you are using a limited land, but you can maximize your profits.
Yes.
Small land, but high productivity. Is that okay? And then also when you are using the greenhouse, the other climatic factors like floods, they are easily controlled because you cannot get flood inside a greenhouse. So that's also an advantage of using greenhouse in smart agriculture. Also drought, it is controlled because you see in greenhouse we are now using drip irrigation. We are maximizing use of water, but we are now eliminating something like drought which will affect the crops in the open, cannot affect them when we are using greenhouse. And then also the control of insect pests. When you use a structure like this, we are able to block the insect pests outside.
And also in a nutshell, you can produce out of season. We call it push. Doing it out of season when the crops are not there in greenhouse, you can beat the farmers outside the market. I don't know whether you'll allow us to walk around and see. Is that all? Ajay, you need to take this. Look, the production. even if you look at this, you can see that even the way at which the way this kunda is being produced, this cowpea is abnormal, isn't it? Compared to the field, it is abnormal. So it means from the word go, we can see that this concoction, the organic fertilizer in liquid form, is more of value than using the others. Look at the capsicum. They are big. You can see them. But this is just the rate, because I don't think this is the lowest rate. I think T3. The T5. If you look at T5, you'll see them even more. The treatment 5, isn't it? You can see T4 is bigger than T. Can you see that one? And that one, I don't know what is T1. You can see the fruits are bigger. So obviously from the word go, we are seeing these students are producing a product, organic product in the market, which will be very useful to the farmers. Okay?
Yes.
We can walk out. We can listen. So drip line system, just as you have been told in the field, is the most effective way of feeding this crop. Not only for irrigation system, but also for fertigation. Fertigation means that you add nutrients to those tanks. You can see those 3 tanks, one for phosphatic fertilizer, and that one is for pH control. You can reduce or increase the pH condition, because each and every crop require a specific pH for assimilation of the nutrients, NPK, potassium, iron, and so on. So it needs that. So we can put phosphatic fertilizer, nitrogenous fertilizer there. It's smart. Sometimes this is for training, but for the industry, it is computerized in such a way that you can just, by a button, you can add phosphatic fertilizer. By a button, you can increase the pH or reduce it, and then the plant will get. And also, you can also use the same system for controlling the pest in the soil. It's called chemigation. Adding fertilizer to the irrigation water is called fertigation, but adding the chemicals for pest control is called chemigation. All these terminologies, they go hand in hand. We need them for the production of crops here. Confined in the greenhouse, we block all the greenhouse gases from polluting the air and environment. And also the diseases, spraying is reduced, because most of the pests and diseases are controlled. We can, like what you are going to see in the other greenhouse, you will see we are using pheromones, feminine pheromones, for controlling the moths which affect our tomatoes in the other greenhouse. But for this one, it is very evident. You can see drip line, it works, and the fertigation can be done. We can also put some manure fertilizer, and then we irrigate it well. Thank you. These are already old. We want to cut them, and we do the process, as we call it, bending. We want, these are tired. These are already, they are black because of this use from the aphids. We have left them now to grow, and then we clear them. We clear them out, clean them, and then they start from just the way we have done the bending. We were just using, there some students, master students tagging some crops, they want to do some work with them. And then after finish, we'll clear them the way we cleared this one here. Is another innovation in reducing the loss of our crops through soil pests and diseases. Lamek is one of our technologies here who's doing this. He's doing the grafting. Remember we talked about, Madam talked to you about the cherry tomatoes, and the cherry tomatoes are here. And we say that they are using them for grafting. They are rootstocks, and then we have got the ones from the market. These are Knife 1. They are susceptible to all the diseases in soil, though they produce well. So this is what it's doing. Can you, Lamek, just explain to us what you are doing?
Ya habari yenyu. Mko salama? Ya tunafanya grafting. Tunatumia winch grafting. Unajua type of grafting? Mwingine other than winch. Whip. Kuna whip mwingine. Kuna tip, kuna ingine. Kuna wedge nimesema ingine.
Talk loud a bit.
Cleft.
Cleft.
Kuna wedge ingine. Common watu wengi wanajiunga side grafting. Ni very common because wanapenda kutumia kwa hizo yenye zina succulent stem, hizi yenye zikana hard stem. Wanafanya side grafting. Na avocado tunatumia wench. Wench ni hiyo unakata katikati and then una kama hii iron una make injury. I think demonstrate kidogo. Una make injury kwa hii part yake huko. Na make injury kwa part ya huko kwingine. And then kwa rootstock unakata katikati. And then unaweka katikati, unaingiza ndani. The reason hatutumii grafting tape, the main reason hatutumii grafting tape ni kwa sababu nyanya ikana succulent stem. Ukiweka grafting tape unaweza ivunja. So tunatumia ka clip. So tuna hold na clip. Unaweka clip na hold na clip. So reason behind kufanya grafting, kuna hii ugonjwa mnaita bacterial wilt. Unajua bacterial wilt? Yeah, bacterial wilt is a soil-borne disease. Inakaa kwa mchanga. Na jiko kwa mchanga, so tukifanya grafting unapata the rootstock itself, most of it cherry ni ngumu sana. Bacterial wilt inashika cherry, but ni ngumu, iko sort of tolerant. So tunaiweka inakuwa rootstock. So inasaidia hii ina grow without kushikwa na bacterial wilt. It's one of the challenge in affect nyanya ya greenhouse ama ya field. So tunafanya grafting. Swali lingine
Very important. All right, so actually that is what is said. Essence of this is to protect your crops in the greenhouse. The best producing tomatoes which are needed, demanded in the field, cannot survive in the greenhouse with their diseases, like bacterial wilt and also fungal wilt, that is Fusarium, Oxysporium, and so on. So because of those, we do this grafting. I told you the same thing in Cyphomandra in the orchard, and actually this is one of the innovations that we are using to control, to get maximum production. It is smart in the sense that we'll be able to get a good rootstock. All these Knife 1 they are in the market we can get, but cherries we have to get in the wild. You know where we get the cherries? In the bush around there you can get them, extract the seeds, and then you put them into the containers like this, and then they grow. Can you see what happened to cherry tomatoes? The one thing that they produce flowers, it means that they are, if you see they have produced flower like this, they are mature. So if I stand like this, it means that in a grafting process, the rootstock must be mature compared to the scion, so that it's able to get enough nutrients supporting the scion. Very smart indeed, and this is what we have been doing. We have exhibited this, Egerton University, we exhibited, tell them to farmers. Like these ones, we are going to sell them to farmers all around the Nakuru region. It's very important. And one thing about this, roots, a scion like this one is just 20 bob, maybe 10 bob, but this is almost 80 bob, one like this. The act of the process of grafting increases the cost of this. So that is smart. We are smart there. We have the technologies added to this and make it more expensive. You can buy most of these, and then you have, when you have your rootstocks, then you can sell leave alone going to plant them in the greenhouse to get your tomatoes and sell. You can sell this one to farmers. Even if you sold them at only 50 bob, you'll have gotten profit, isn't it? A lot of it. So we are smart. We are smart. So that's why I always encourage that it's important to launch such a project of climate smart agriculture. And you can be able to gain a lot. Farmers will gain, students will also gain, and everybody in such a form, in such a setup will be able to gain. So further, we are going to go with him to the greenhouse to see some of the things he has done there. If you want, Lamek, can you take us there, because we don't want to make a mistake there. We are going to the greenhouse where all these are applicable, simple, any farmer can do it.
Go niongee kuhusu type. Mwana fuseria mills.
Come all of us.
Hii kufanya grafting.
Okay.
Simani imefika kubwa katikati ya wenzake na vile ina behave.
Yes.
Ina wilt.
Let the camera come.
So the reason behind tunafanya grafting ni ku avoid such loss.
You can now see.
So can you imagine kama hii nyanya yote ingekuwa iko hivi? Ina wilt hivyo hapo inakauka. And then unajua una invest kwa nyanya. So kama hii ni investment yako ifike ikauke. Utakuta kuna patches hapa ndani imeshikwa na fusarium wilt. Fusarium wilt kwa mchanga. So nyanya ikikuwa unlucky kama hii inakauka, naona tayari ishafika, isha mature. Hii nyanya iko mature. So I think after some weeks itakuwa imeanza kuripen watu wakuli. Ndani ina ripen. So hapa kuna nyanya type mbili, ukienda polepole kuna hii yenye iko bushi na kuna hii iko huko kando.
Two types.
There are two types. Okay. But this type ya huku walileta kama trial, walileta kama M1, wajaleta the specific name of the nyanya. Wameleta na jina yake ya trial M1. But ukiangalia polepole kuna two differences zinaonekana. Hii iko very bushy na haijafungwa, and then the other one tume maintain one stem. What tunafanyia desuckering, tunatoa suckers. Reason behind it because hii moja ni long term, inakaa kwa greenhouse, na hii bushy most of them zinakuwa short term. Unapata after 6 months ikianza maturity to harvest for few months inaisha kuwa na lower production, tunatoa. The other one under good management inaweza kaa 1.5 years ama 2 years under good management. Kama mtu mwenye anaangalia vizuri. So kwa nyanya kuna kategori 3. Kuna determinate, kuna indeterminate na kuna semi determinate. So determinate ni gani? Nimesikia mko na idea kidogo. Determinate
variety. Yes.
Determinate growth ends after flowering, after the first flowering. In a season. Indeterminate, it will flower first time and you harvest, and it will continue flowering and harvest the following time.
Mtu mwingine?
I would say the same for semi-determinate.
Yeah.
For one season, it will still produce, mature, and then be harvested, and then it will also continue to the other season.
Yeah. I think you ni one of the explanation about the determinate na interdeterminate, semi-determinate. But in most of the cases unapatanga a semi-determinate tomato, it can grow both kwa greenhouse na both kwa field. Unapata that's different inatokea hapo. Kwa determinate nayo unapata ni specific ya kama ni greenhouse ni greenhouse. Iwezi enda kwa field.
Yes.
Kwa interdeterminate unapata ni specific kama ni field, ukileta kwa greenhouse the production yuko sawa. Sasa mali different inakuja kutokea, unapata in most of the cases kwa nyanya kama hii yetu ni bushi. The main reason behind it imeachwa kwa floor, ikiwa imefungwa production yake iko poa, so tunaiacha kwa ground. Ikiwa kwa ground unaona production yake iko sawa.
Yes.
Production yake inakuwa sawa. The other one ukiacha kwa ground itakuwa na lot of challenge kwa kumanage because ni long, inakuwa mrefu. Ukiingia huko ndani, wacha niwaruhusu tu muingie huko ndani. Tunaona stem ya nyanya yenyewe inakuwa mrefu. Unaona kama hii ishakuwa mrefu mpaka ishashinda hii waya yangu, so utakuwa unaiteremsha. So unapata hii nyanya the time tunafika next year unaweza pata iko hapa. Hiyo ndio nini yake, mzizi yake, na nyanya yenyewe iko hapa. So unaona usifanyia kitu kama desuckering itakuwa ngumu kumanage. Reason behind it pia utafanya desuckering, suckers yenyewe ina feed. Hii suckers ukiacha hapa with time ina feed, inakuwa kama hii stem. So kunakuwa na competition ya food. So tunatoa. Kwa na moja tuweze kumanage easily. So hivi na nyanya ziko kama hii ni NF1. Most of these ones yenye zinakuanga buchi tunazifanyia staking. Staking ya kuwekea kamiti. Ili unaona ukienda kwa shamba utapata most of these ones zinakuwa tumiti kidogo alafu inafungwa na hii ni ya gunia. Hapa hivi nayo tunafanyia trellising. Trellising ni kufunga na kamba kwa waya. Alafu training ni control kuweka hii nyanya ifuate kamba. So inaitwa trellising and training. Nani anajua kufanya trellising ama nifanye demo kidogo?
We have done some of that video.
Uliwaifanya before?
These are done video to that. Yeah.
Hii ni basic but ni important ujue education kama umefanya agriculture utajipata kwa situation ya nyanya. So most of the cases tunafunga unatafuta mahali yenye si soft kama hapa juu. Ukifunga itavunjika. So unatafuta mahali iko a little bit ningi imekuwa hardened kidogo. Unaitai. Yenye mko na mbuzi nyumbani mnajua kufunga na hii style. Nimefunga hivi ndio nikikuja navuta hapa inafunguka tu haraka. And then unaifanyia hiyo training. Hakikisha inatembea
Twine.
hapo unafunga inaweza tukikuja kuvuta pia natoka. So ni one of the management ya nyanya. Huwa inafungwa hivyo. I hope mmeona ni simple tu ni kitu tu unaweza learn basic.
Yes.
Reason behind kufunga hivi ni ukitaka kuja kutoa juu nyanya ina grow tall with the time inabidi tushikishe chini kama hii kufikia waya inabidi iteremshwe. So with the time tutakuja kufungua tuiteremshe ikuwe stable kidogo tufunge tena. Kuna mtu akana swali?
Yeah. Which planting media do you use in raising the seedlings?
Ya kwa soilless media. So soilless media kuna kadhaa. One of it ni vermiculite. Vermiculite kwa ile tray nilikuwa nayo kuna yenye iko brownish Yes. Ile sasa tray iko kule nje iko brownish inakaa brown in color Hiyo ni coco peat. Vermiculite ni kuna yenye inakaa shiny ni kama kitu yenye kanaka silver hapo juu. Inaitwa vermiculite. Hiyo ni another soilless media. Kuna coco peat, kuna vermiculite, kuna peat moss, kuna pumice. Pumice ni kama ile mawe ya kusugua mguu. Hii ni common ile mawe tunatumia kusugua mguu. Unapata imegongwa ikakuwa ndogo. Wengine ukienda kwingine utadhani ni sand soil marbles zile kubwa Pumice inafanana hivyo. So tunatumia kupanda kama soilless media. Some people wanasemanga sawdust pia ni soilless media. So soilless media si mingi lakini yenye ni common utaenda mahali upatane nayo ni vermiculite, peat moss, coco peat. Ni very common because ni iko cheap kidogo so utapata inatumika sana. Ya swali lingine?
I've seen something new.
The
light here.
The light.
Yeah.
Hii ni tutor trap Most of it kana pheromone. Na anatumia ile system ya unajua most of the weakness of men ni female. Sasa hii utapata imekuwa pheromone ya female. So the boy child anakuja kidhani kuna female mwenye anataka mating. Anakuwa amestakiwa na hiyo gulu. So the light itself yenye imewekwa hapo ina produce color ya unajua all insect kuna light wanapenda. So utapata tutor most of them wanapenda blue color. Ukienda kwa thrips, unajua thrips?
Yeah.
Thrips wanapenda yellow. So unakuta kuna stick traps kwa kampuni. Ndiko mnajua stick trap ile inakuanga sticky both sides. wameweka ya yellow because ya thrips. So unapata wadudu wanapenda kala tofauti. But kwa tutor hata inzi anapenda kala blue. So unaonanga hata mkiwa na bulb ya blue mtapata two moths tunapenda kukuja mahali bulb ya blue iko. So insect wengi wanaattractiwa na light. Sasa tunapata kama hii tumeweka light because during the night kutakuwa tuna kamongaza hapa. So wale tutor wenye wakuweza kukaguliwa na dawa watakuja hapa. Wengine boy child atasikia scent ya female kwa sababu ya pheromone akuje anashikwa na hiyo blue. So the purpose ya light ni ku attract wadudu. Light ina attract both, but pheromone ina attract the male. Yeah.
Now, in a climate smart agriculture, in this case, you think about the life characteristics of the pest. You know, moths, they walk at night, isn't it?
Yes.
Moths. So at night, the light will be available, and that will be the only light. So in the old greenhouse, there's another one up there. They'll come to the light, all the moths which come to eat, because they actually are active at night. So from there, around that area, they feel the smell of the male, the female there. So they are attracted. Those are stickers. They go there, they wait, they move around there looking for the female they don't find, and they get stuck. After getting stuck, then they die there. Sometimes we can, even without that sticker, we can put a tray of water, isn't it? Sometimes we put a tray or a trough of water down there. They'll move around until they get tired, and then they drop in the water like that. It is smart to have that, so that if you eliminate all the males, then you have curtailed the production system, because the eggs will not be fertilized, and if they are not fertilized, then you will not have any sibling coming up. So it means that we'll just be able to eliminate all the female remaining around at once, and then it's gone. If this one was not done, then you will find a lot of minor, all the leaves have been mined. Then I think you don't have a yellow sticker the other side, do you?
Yes, we do.
Yeah. If you walk around, you talked about yellow stickers for the white fly. Would you want to explain that also?
Yeah, mkiangalia ile ya blue pale kwenye mnapita, mnaiona vile iko? And then ukuje uone hii. Una realize hii kuna nini tu white
Yes.
Lakini pale si wengi kama hapa. Because white fly color wenye wanapenda ni yellow. So wakiona yellow color wanakuja. You know, I think insect kuna kenye wanapenda. Ni kama pia sisi kuna color huwa ni our favorite colors. Sasa kwao yellow ndio huwa inawashika. So most of the time tukiweka hii nini ya yellow wanakuja. So inawashika. Evidence iko hapa.
You can see. So if you look around here, they are there, but all the time when they feed at night, they go there to the stick. Very prominent here, we are using a chemical we use as a last solution, IPM, integrated pest management. Use that from trapping them. You can use physical hand, you can use the stickers, and then after that you see you can protect it by controlling in an environment, you close it up. If you have defeated completely with that, is when you use chemical at the last solution. That's smart, because greenhouse tomatoes require a lot of protection, and you have to use a lot of chemicals to protect them. And in that, maximum residue levels will also increase beyond what is required. And that is the reason why it is important to have a greenhouse as one of the areas of displaying climate smart agriculture system. And also the variety, you can explain that. A tutor, you can see some there.
Hii imebaki hapa, but tumekuwa tukijaribu control hii ni tutor, hii ni kazi yake.
They are there, even if you open there, you can see that there must be
Leaf
the
miner
maggots
tutor.
there. Yeah, so I think this areas we need to remove them. And you see there's something that just to add on that.
He talked about this one can go for 1 year. It is smart to have it for 1 year, and then after that you just pull the stem down. You harvest this one, you pull it down, let it lie there, and then you keep on then planting and planting again and again. Determinate is good because it produces once, but this one you can use a greenhouse for a long time, for more than 1 year, and you just gain out of it. That's very important. It is smart. Thank you.
We really appreciate, we have learned quite a lot,
Yes.
especially in terms of in the face of changing climatic conditions.
Yes.
Yes, because we have floods, there are droughts and so on. So the farmer wants to avoid or to mitigate those climatic conditions, but at the same time to increase his or her productivity at the end of the day. So we have gone right from the fields. We have seen quite a number of indigenous crops that are adapting to the field conditions. We have now come to the greenhouses, and we have seen how much production can be increased. In terms of tomatoes, we have seen some cowpeas, and I was even commenting that one stem can feed a family.
Correct.
Yes. Yeah, that's very important. So our students have really learned a lot, and we really appreciate your support and your training. We are very glad, and I know we'll come back, especially for these ripe tomatoes.
Right.
Instead of them getting wasted, maybe we can stick around and collect some of them.
These are even fresher. They are cleaner than they are healthier than those.
So thank you so much.
Welcome.
We really appreciate. We'll come back.
Thank you very much.